On today's episode of the Back of the Bird, we sit down with the newest member of the Georgia Swarm, longtime Colorado Mammoth defender Joey Cupido. Also chat about some PLL Cards, some awesome nicknames there, and the NLL news of the Warrior deal, the TSN schedule, and some other good stuff as well. Let's get right into it. Episode 124 of the Back of the Bird.
Take your first ride and run, baby, run. If you want a sign, this is it. You're mad, you're magic, you're as hot as a gun. You wanna play with fire, consider this. You'll chase the thrill if it's worth the hit, 'cause you never ever wanna work for it. Take your first ride and run, baby, run. You got a spine of steel and a roar of thunder. Yeah, you make me drown, yeah, you're pulling me under.
All right, we are back. Episode 124, Back of the Bird, presented by Cottage Springs. You know the time of year, whatever time of year it is, it's springtime. So get out there, try a Springers. I saw some people drinking those little short stubby ones that are the 7%ers. So get out there, try those out. We're rolling into we're past Thanksgiving season, Christmas season's kind of around the corner. Maybe gift somebody
Halloween. What about
Halloween? Halloween's coming up. Maybe dress as your favorite spring can. That would be a fun little outfit. I think I'd be going regular vodka soda Ontario peach if I was to pick one. What would you guys go?
I'd be going tequila soda and probably grapefruit.
Nice.
I'm actually exact same as Paul. Those things
Wow.
those things are awesome.
They're
I
good,
love
eh?
yeah, they're the best.
And then the drunk uncle at Halloween, just being the chaperone, can be the punched up ones and just say offside things to people as they walk by in their costumes. But again, we appreciate Cottage Springs. Appreciate you guys listening. Let's dive into it. Paulie, how are you doing?
Doing great, buddy. Just 2 weeks away. I guess I'm heading down to Buff this Saturday for physicals. So we'll get to see some of the boys, probably meet some other guys, but be a quick kind of in and out. We got nothing else going on. Just get the physicals out of the way. I think like all the arena's like pretty busy, so we're doing most of our stuff at the track. So yeah, just get down there and hammer it out, and then that's it, man. But yeah, 2 weeks away, dude. So just fucking still running, just running.
Donnie, you just had the craziest blank stare in your look. I can't wait for you to see this back. You literally just look like a serial killer. But it's a good thing. I mean, good thought for you guys to just go down and do that on Saturday, get it out of the way, because it
just immediately at least like such a long day when you gotta do like the physicals and then you got 2 sessions. So it'd be nice to just get in and out. Hopefully in and out, get the old ticker check. I'll do a little bit more, get the ticker checked out, see if the hardware's still kicking. But no, it's good, man.
Good stuff. Donnie, what's going on with you?
Yeah, not much. Obviously, same with you guys. Just trying to get ready to play here, and just excited. Kind of our last weekend. We don't have anything this weekend. Our first camp is next weekend in Vegas, so excited to get down there, check it out. We're going to be practicing, and I believe scrimmaging in the new venue. Nice. Vegas is playing in Henderson now, so really excited about that, and also. Relevant to Back of the Bird fans, we are playing against Buffalo in St. Catharines at the Meridian Center, which is where the OHL team plays. That's where the Minto Cup is going to be this August. I believe the proceeds are
going to the Minto Cup.
Are right? Going to the Minto Cup, and that's November 16th, I believe. So if you're in Southwestern Ontario, I think tickets are going to go on sale pretty soon here, so Paulie and I playing against each other, and should be a good one, and obviously a good cause supporting a local organization as well.
So that means that tickets cost money? And
I think so.
Does that not mean the boys get paid for the exhibition game?
I think it does.
It'll be interesting, but I wonder if it's going to charity if they bypass it.
Oh, I'm filing a grievance on your behalf. Call the NLLPA, get the boys paid. But that's exciting.
Paulie and I are going to jersey swap after the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jersey swap, and then give the jerseys back. So just training camp jerseys, and we still have another weekend after that.
Here's my sweaty jersey with no name on the back.
Yeah.
Let's hold those up.
I got to figure out like what color wears or what color offense wears in Vegas and vice versa. Because I need to give the other one to Paulie so I know which one to hang on to.
I like it, man. But yeah, thank God you asked. My week was good.
You guys start this weekend.
Yeah, we're on this weekend, but I guess it's been a couple weeks since we chatted. Did we talk? No, I don't think we did. I had an all-time lacrosse beauty wedding. Riley O'Connor's wedding down in Saratoga Springs. Was a great time. Just I think almost every guy there was an NLL guy of some sort, pretty much. So a lot of fun was had. Wouldn't recommend or wish that drive on my worst enemy home from Saratoga Springs after a wedding.
How far is it?
6.5 hours drive.
Yeah, 'cause it's like just past Albany, right? Kind of.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So,
Bet
good
on any
weekend there.
ponies?
What's that?
Bet on any ponies?
No, they weren't running. I did.
Okay.
We went to the casino with Clark Peterson there on the Friday, and I lost it all. So
You lost.
yeah, it wasn't good. But
who was the biggest beauty at the wedding? Who took home the belt?
well, yeah, there was a
Other than
swimming pool.
yourself.
There was a swimming pool there that wasn't for swimming, and Clark might have ended up in that swimming pool. It was a lot of fun, man. It's hard to say who was the all-time beauty. At one point, though, I was on stage playing the cowbell from the band. So
Nice, that's sick.
That was a good time. I even did the 360 play it behind my back with my back facing the crowd. So I'm excited for pictures to come out of that one. Also had a little work conference last week, which capped off with a cash poker tournament. And guess who won? I've never played a lick of poker in my life. I'm bluffing. I'm going all in with like a king high, nothing on the table. So walked out of there with like $450,
Nice.
which was a nice win. But yeah, ready for the weekend. We head down. We've got our physicals are Friday, and then strength testing Saturday, practice, and then scrimmage Sunday. So it's right back into the mixer here. But exciting times, man. We've been waiting a while for this. It's crazy. It's already been I guess 5 months since the regular season kind of ended or whatever. Math guy, I don't know that for sure. But this is a fun episode, man. We got Joey Cupido on, who just topically just signed with Georgia, so found himself a new home. The Badgers headed down to Georgia. You guys will get that reference once you listen to this podcast. But a lot of fun. I know there's a few things that we want to dive into. You guys are lucky. We got another card pull coming your way, which is very exciting stuff. But we might leave that until after the interview, so you guys have to stick around. But I guess in terms of signings, obviously we talked about Joey. Randy Stats is back in Halifax, and then John Lintz to Calgary. Another signing there. A few other guys kind of re-upping along the way, but you can check the NLL transactions page because we're not going to do that. Outside of that, we maybe talk a little bit about the. You want to talk about the Warriors stuff, Donnie?
Yeah, so a few league kind of announcements. Warrior renewing their partnership with the league. So I think most teams, if not all, use the Warrior products. I believe they are, if not exclusive, one of the obviously very primary, utmost suppliers of equipment to the league. So that, I think, is kind of a renewal. The more bigger news is that they are the new lacrosse ball sponsor of the NLL. So I can't exactly remember who had it last year, but the balls will now. I think
Wolf
so.
Yeah. I was gonna say signature, but I think Wolf. You're right. Yeah.
But they tend to do a pretty good job with them. They have kind of an NLL signature, usually kind of stamp on them. Obviously, it is the souvenir that most fans have connection to. If you go to an NLL game, and if you want to get a lacrosse ball, I'm going to venture to guess or venture to say at most venues, if you get there early, you can get one. I think most guys around the league are pretty good at throwing them to fans, so I'm sure a lot of people have taken them home. So that's kind of the news, and then. Kind of the more interesting news I think this week is NLL and TSN announced the national TV schedule, and kind of two interesting points there is one, I think 17 of the games are on Fridays, so the NLL clearly that TSN is kind of signaling that's a good day for them. The Rock play a lot of Friday games. They also play in a lot of those NLL TSN games, and then 15 of the 20 games on TSN this year are games between two Canadian teams. So with Ottawa being added this year and an extra Canadian team kind of signals where TSN's head is at. I think it's exciting, although it sucks for me personally because I don't get to play on TSN this year. Paulie, you guys are on there actually four times.
Four? I thought like twice. Jeez.
I think you're on there a few more.
Okay.
But interesting as the Canadian kind of contingent here grows that TSN is obviously pretty receptive to it.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, it's fantastic that they do that too. I mean, I remember mentioning it last year. It was Friday we were on a bye weekend and was at a bar, and the game was on like 18 different TVs in that bar. People were like, what the hell is this? And started watching it. So yeah, it's a good thing. It's exciting. And I could see, TSN probably getting more involved and jumping on this opportunity to kind of become more of a prominent lacrosse media thing, because I think it's their Bell, right? Bell Media is
correct.
TSN, and Bell just sold their stake in the Leafs, which to me signals that they're kind of moving away from kind of any sort of NHL, because Sportsnet's got all the rights to that. So they're going to be looking to fill some slots. So I think it's pretty exciting there. Hopefully they invest in. But we want to send it over to Capizzi?
Sure.
What do we think? Cool. Well, you guys know the drill. Brought to you by Lucky Penny Media. At Lucky Penny Media, we're a full-service marketing company without hefty agency pricing. We understand your brand is everything to you, and working together, it means everything to us. You're more than just a client. You're a partner and teammate. Our philosophy is simple. You grow, I grow, it grows. Here we go. Cupido.
This Hamilton, Ontario native is the first guest in Back the Bird history to have won both the Vanier Cup and an NLL championship. He's a two-sport athlete who played Junior A for Six Nations and football for the McMaster University before being drafted in 2011 by the Mammoth. In 169 career games with the Mammoth, he was named Transition Player of the Year twice and won the aforementioned title with Colorado in 2022. He most recently signed this week with the Georgia Swarm. Welcome to Back of the Bird, Joey Cupido.
That was a hell of an introduction. Yeah, like I said, boys, honor to be on here.
Yeah, thanks for joining, man. And I guess based on what Donnie just said, congrats, man. A new home down in Georgia. How's that feel? A little bit of mixed emotions.
I don't think it's sunk in yet. It probably won't until I'm actually there with the boys in camp. Like, it was weird. Like, I mean, I've been with Denver since 2011, and I didn't think it would be kind of as hard as it was to leave, I guess. Like, I was kind of dreading, like, sending that message in the group, like, hey, boys, like, thanks for everything. See you later, kind of. And, I'd been in the group since, 2011. So saying goodbyes to all them and all the people in the organization, then kind of seeing the people posting about me was a little emotional. But, I'm excited for the new opportunity and really excited to get going in camp in a few weeks here.
Love it, man. Well, let's rewind the clocks back, right back to when you're a little gupper growing up in Hamilton. How'd you get into lacrosse?
My dad had me in soccer, t-ball, and it was a little bit boring and slow for him. And then he was a teacher. He taught with a guy who was involved with it. Do you know Baldini at all?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Guy. So he taught with him, and then he said, "Oh, why don't you try lacrosse?" And my dad knew a little bit about the game growing up, so put me in it, and I was 4 years old. I fell in love with it and been playing it ever since. I guess the rest is history.
With the football, like when did you start playing football? High school, or were you playing football like same time as well? Because they're both summer
No.
sports essentially.
Yeah, I started playing tackle football in high school when I was in grade
Okay.
nine. I played like
Okay.
flag in elementary, but I was just kind of like I played every single sport growing up. Like whatever the season, I try it out. Played on all the school teams, and lacrosse and football just happened to be the ones I was best at. So once I got to high school and like later on, like probably grade 11 or so, I stuck with them and started focusing on them and kind of dropped doing the other ones.
Did you play, how old were you when you started lacrosse?
I guess I would have been 4 years old, 94, I
Yeah.
think.
So you grew up playing for the Bengals the whole way?
Kinda. So I played for the Bengals probably till I was like 10 or so, and then I didn't play, maybe even before that. Like I remember I didn't play summer for like 5, 6 years. I only played field, which was kind of new, and like I don't know if that was probably because my dad not wanting to travel and do stuff in the summer and or something with the organization. I don't know. But then I started playing my last year of midget again with the Bengals, and then played junior there to start. But other than that, yeah, I've been in Hamilton. I haven't played like in any other centers or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh, I'm always curious, guys, you've had on about some of the nicknames. Was Lightning the name since you were a kid, or was that an NLL name, or how did that kind of come up?
No, I know health thing. I mean, I just down in Colorado, the arena. I don't know what you call him, like the MC kind of guy, kind of fires up the crowd. Started calling me it one day. Just I guess how fast I got up the floor, and then the fans started liking it and they started making some signs about it, and he kept using it, and the NLL adopted it. So it kind of just stuck. And I guess it's a pretty cool nickname. Like there's worse ones for sure out there.
Yeah.
So I like it, and uh, but yeah, it was just kind of organically happened in Colorado just by chance, I guess.
Yeah. That's Paul, you're muted.
Yeah, he's
I
probably
said it's a lot
laughing.
better. It's a lot better than slow feet, that's for sure.
Yeah, Slowy was floating around for a little bit there after coming back from the injury. Didn't like that one as much. So
Um, was the first guy? Was it the wrestler guy? Were you in Colorado when
yeah,
it was
I
the?
wasn't on the
Okay,
team at the time, but yeah, it was
okay,
Willie B, and I remember like seeing the video on YouTube. It was you played in that game, didn't you?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it was
yeah,
it's
yeah,
Bubba Durno, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Wait, Paul, can you explain it for the listeners and also for me?
Yeah, me too.
Okay, yeah. Well, like just like so, Willie B was the guy that gave you the nickname, though, Joe, or no?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So like Willie B was the announcer, so kind of like how Swenny is in Buffalo. Like they're kind of calling the game as it's going on and giving guys nicknames and starting to chance the crowd. But Willie B was like essentially like an underground wrestler, right, Joe? Kind of like a
He had
mid
Like a
something
circuit.
with
backyard
that. Like I don't know
wrestler?
if he was that, if he was a biker too, and like he was a radio guy. Like he was a big, pretty
Yeah,
jacked
like he
guy.
was jacked up. So, anyways, long story short, because we'll get into the wrestling too, because you got a couple of good things about wrestling. But yeah, so there was like a little like skirmish on the floor when I was playing in Boston, and then this guy Bubba Durno again, who guys, if you don't know, he's like my size, but he's the guy who grew a mustache, dyed it pink, like just a character, an all time beauty, and so he got to the box, and then Willie B started saying something on the mic, and then Bubba didn't like it. But the problem was Willie was in like the visitors' penalty box. So then, as Bubba came in, you open the door, so there was a door between them, but then they start getting in like a door pushing match. So Willie B and Bubba are like essentially pushing the penalty box against each other, like trying to fight. People are trying to break it up, and then next thing you know, obviously the next game, Willie's on the home team's penalty bench side. No one thought it was going to be a bad idea, but it was just goes down in like the NLL lore that Bubba Durno tried to fight the MC in the Colorado game.
That's all time.
Yeah. There's a
Back to
clip. You can YouTube it. Like there's a clip of
I
it.
think the clip's out there. Yeah, it's
Oh
great.
okay,
yeah, for sure.
Donnie, we're gonna have to put that out with this.
Yeah,
I
there
think.
we go. We got social clips for next week. Perfect.
But so growing up, like when you were just playing field, was there like a group of guys from Hamilton that you kind of consistently like that played every year, sort of thing, or and maybe any guys that went on to play pro?
Yeah, so like Dilksey and me are the same age.
Okay.
So a few other guys, Kyle Aquin played in the league for a little bit.
He was good too. He
Yeah,
was he
he was
was
really good.
smooth. Yeah.
Lefty O guy.
Yeah.
He was great when we were younger too. And even like when he got to the pros, like he was like played his role really well, did a great job. I'm not sure whatever happened or why he never kind of stuck around, but I always thought he was a great player. Same Mikey Mack. Mikey Mack was on our team as a whole, and like great leader, big physical guy. And then we had a couple older guys like Cam Mann, Kyle Matisse, Ty Midwinter, I think was in the league for a little bit.
Yep.
Might have been it. There's probably other guys now that I can't remember, but Torrey Gardner.
Yep. There's
He's
a
a little bit
character.
older. We're playing U19 with Torrey. I remember the first time seeing him, like before he had that accent and stuff. Like he was unbelievable, just a specimen. Like so smooth and fluid. Like could play both ends. Like could run for days. Never got tired. Like he was awesome. And he's still hanging around, still playing, still fighting a little bit too, I think. So
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Paulie, we got you again.
Muted again, Polly.
Sorry. He just made his return to Senior B on the island this summer.
Did
there
he?
you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Were you,
I stay in touch with him. He's hilarious, man.
yeah.
He was my son for our 2 summers in Victoria. That was my first
Yeah.
son. Yeah.
Did you play, like, do you remember when there was a bunch of guys from like Six Nations, like the Johns brothers and like John Alex McDougall and like all those guys, they came and played in Hamilton? It's like
I
were you-
played with them while growing up. Yeah, so we
Okay.
had both the Johns boys, J.A., Andrew Potriff, who was a little bit younger, who was a stud back in the day. Same thing. I don't know what happened, why he never kind of made it or panned out. Jesse Stats, he was
Yeah.
same thing. Like he was awesome, man, electric. Like could fill the net, could run for days. Wiz played Wayne Van Avery.
Yep.
Played U19 with us too. So yeah, we were a good team. Like we never really did anything indoor, but like outdoor, we won Ontario the one year. And then we went out to BC or I think it was in Edmonton. We played BC in the final, lost like 17-14 or something stupid where every single goal went in. Like
Yeah.
one of those games. We were supposed to have Jason Crawford and Randy. Yeah, who's the other one? I think Randy Johnson. We're supposed to be our 2 goalies, and then neither of them just showed up. They just kind of bailed. So it was a rough final.
I think I remember like briefly in my childhood that there, like, I think my brother was trying to convince my parents to join that Hamilton team that was going out there as well. But I don't think that it ever panned out to happen, obviously. But
We brought in a few guys from outside. I can't remember who. It was so long ago. But we were good, man. We had a lot of good players and a lot of guys who like went on to like have successful lacrosse careers too.
So you played those couple years of junior in Hamilton, and then after that it was to Six Nations. Now, is that just like, would that be considered like your home center back then, or did you have to be drafted by them, or how did that work?
No, technically it was affiliation. So I actually played my first ever game in Brampton. My first
No
year
way.
junior B. Just
Interesting.
one and done. Yeah. So my first year B, like they randomly, my GM just called like, hey, they need a guy. You want to play tonight? And I'm like, okay, sure. And I showed up. We won 8-4. That was the end of it. But that was, I think that was, I can't remember if it was the year they were hosting the Minto or the year after or before. I think it was the year before. But like team was stacked, like Rubes, Corbs. I think it was Deep and Carl in net. They were really good. And then the next year played the whole season with Hamilton, and then we weren't that good. But Spartans wanted to trade for me for the playoffs, and then like deal was basically done. I was going to go there, and literally right before calling the GM, my GM called again. He's like, "Hey, the Arrows want you to play tonight and for the rest of the season with them. So like, do you want to do that or you want to get traded?" And I chose to go with the Arrows. So I finished the season up with them, and then finished my career out in 6. So we had like an unofficial affiliation, I guess you'd say, because like guys kind of had the option. If you went to Burlington, like Eggs, I know Johnny Mack was our goalie. He ended up going there. But then we had guys like me, Dilksey, Mikey Mack. We all went to 6. So Shane Simpson, Pat Rue was another one. So it was like an unofficial affiliation we had with them.
And then, I mean, when you got to Six Nations, you guys had pretty good teams in terms of those years. Like you, I think it was. I mean, we've got it here in the notes, but the one year, 2010, you lost to Orangeville in the finals. And then the next year, when Whitby had quite the team and losing them to the semis, what were those kind of couple years like going that far into the playoffs for you?
Ah, man, we had such a good team. I feel like we should have won one of those. Like I know the one year we started like 18-1 and then lost to Brampton twice out of nowhere. And then I remember the year we got swept by Orangeville. Like we were kind of young and like Randy didn't have a great series in net for us. But then the year we lost to Whitby, I thought was the year we should have won. Like they beat us 4-2, but I remember game three at home and it was 1-1 and we were up like 9-7. I think they scored two goals with 10 seconds left. Like scored a goal, won a draw, came down and scored right away, beat us in overtime, and then couldn't recover from that. But like I know they were stacked. They had like Matthews, OC, Jacko. I think Lintner was there on the right side. Like they were loaded, but we were pretty damn good. We had a lot of good defenders too, guys who could fill the net. So that was our missed opportunity. But I had a great time out there. I loved playing. It was a great organization to play for, and treated us really well and learned a lot too. We had some good coaching. Marsh Abrams was the coach. He
Yeah,
had tons of experience stuff, so definitely stuff that translated at the
Just
next level.
putting together in the notes today, you had 57 points your last in 2011. Were you coming out the back door the whole time, or
I was a straight O guy.
oh straight O guy?
I was a
Okay,
straight O guy in junior, and I got drafted to the NLL as an O guy.
Really?
So like, yeah,
interesting.
you didn't know that?
No,
Yeah, straight
that's
O. Like all
amazing.
growing up was an O guy, and then played. I was in the nation for 3 years, straight O, and then I played like I kind of just stayed on the floor and like I'd always put on a press and like go from O to D, kind of the other way, and like played a lot of two way, but came out the O door every single time. And then I got to Denver as an O guy, and like originally like because Eddie was um, the reason I ended up in Colorado. So
Okay.
like he was coaching there. He had coached me at Mac a little bit and like knew I played for six, so took a shot on me late in the draft. But then he knew I was playing football. So the original plan was just stick me on like the holdout list. So I finished up football. But I had a really good camp, beat out a couple guys who I think they thought were going to be on their team and they stuck me on the PR. And then halfway through the season, like I knew I wasn't going to get in as an O guy. Like we had a pretty stacked group and a lot of young guys too. So I asked Hammer if I could go to the back door and like start doing some practices there. And then I ended up getting in last game of the season when one of our guys, Jared Park, tore his ACL. So I played last game of the year, and then the next year started the season as a D guy and kind of been stuck back there ever since.
Once you go back, you're never coming out. They never get you back.
No, not that I'd want to, man. Like I'm happy where I am, man. It's too tough playing home. Just
Yeah,
get, I mean, defense you get pretty beat up, but nothing like offense. Every single shift, getting whacked and cross checked. At least you can be the one delivering
you're
it in the
giving
back
it.
end. Like I can still sneak up, and like usually when I get going, it's 2-on-1, 3-on-2, so I don't have to worry about that stuff.
Makes sense. Before we dive into the NLL stuff and the draft and everything, kind of how that went, but we'll dive into the football side of things because I think it's super interesting because there's it's rare to have a story like yours. Paul. I think Paulie's is similar in the raising the banner to the rafters, playing junior hockey. But um, let's talk about the football side of things. How did you end up at Mac? Like, what was the recruiting process like out of high school? And did you always know you wanted to pursue that?
No, like for the longest time, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like for a while, I thought I might go to the States, like wrote my SATs and try to keep my options open. But I love football and I love playing it, and I always wanted to play it at the next level. But like I didn't really get recruited out of high school too much. I talked to a few teams like Laurier and Queens. Mac wasn't super interested. And then the last game of our high school season, I had like this giant game where I had like three picks, a couple touchdowns, and then did it again the next week in the playoffs, like another three picks, a couple touchdowns, and like I was like the athlete of the week for like Hamilton High School. So then after that, Mac was like calling me and kind of interested in me, and I'd always wanted to go there because like I'd go down as a kid and see the games. I thought it was so cool. So like I probably had some better offers from other places, but chose to stay at home. And then yeah, like I was there 6 years. So redshirted the first year and played like lacrosse instead, and then was still like practicing with the football team, and then played 5 years after that. But it was awesome, and it turned out to be a very good decision. We did really well, and certainly no regrets with it.
Yeah, for just stuff I learned today, you guys. So you won the Vanier Cup, which for those who don't know is the Canadian Championship in 11. You played again in 12. You played it again, I think, in 14. And from 11 to 12, you guys didn't lose like for like 20 straight games. So what was that like, just being a part of basically a kind of dynasty in real time?
Really cool, man. And like we knew we were good. Like we knew we were rock stars, and kind of caught lightning in a bottle with like we had an elite quarterback, like one of the best to ever do it in CIS.
Who
And then a
who were
lot of
the
our guys,
studs?
like Quinlan was our quarterback. He was unbelievable.
Okay.
Like he was breaking
Okay.
records for like completion percentage, touchdowns, like dual threat guy. We had Mike Jacroce was our star. He was, I can't remember if he won the Heck Crichton or was nominated, which is like the Heisman for Canada. Um, but stud receiver. He got drafted to CFL, but like had some injury problems, couldn't make it. You
Did
know, we had a
Pizzetta
lot of
play with
defense.
you?
Yeah, Pez played with me. He's a beauty.
Oh, he's an
I
all-time.
love Pezzer. He's man, I'd always bring the lacrosse sticks down, and then we'd play posts. And the one time he beat me and he was chirping me. I'd give him a head start, but still. But then we'd
He
always bicker back and forth over like who was having better season or better career and stuff like that.
this guy Paulie, running back, you couldn't even see a neck on him. It was just traps to earlobes. And he was a really good football player, struggled with injuries, but he played. I remember because he went to Notre Dame in Burlington. He played 1 year of high school lacrosse, running out there with coho gloves on and a long pole, and would legitimately just ruin. Like, these kids are picking up a stick for the first time, and he would ruin their lives, hitting them so hard. It was unbelievable to watch. But I remember him being an unbelievable football player. But again, just like, I think it was his knees, they just kept going on.
It was. He was a bull, man. He just run you over. Like it was there's nothing you could do. He was so big, so strong, so athletic. And my last year, like he had just come back, he did his ACL twice, so he did it,
Oh,
and then tore it again, like however many months later while rehabbing it. And then he came back, had an awesome season. We win the Ontario Championship, and in the first series of the next game, semifinals, does it on a non-contact again.
oh.
So right before the championship, we go on to win the game, and then um, he came back once more after that, which was awesome to see. But like 3 times doing it is mental.
That's No one should have to deal with that. That's not right.
No, it's just not fair. And like he was a guy that for sure could have made the league. Like he was just so talented the way he played, his mentality. Like he got screwed by those injuries for sure.
No doubt, man.
What's sorry, Danny. What's the Vanier like? Because I feel like Canadian football is kind of like lacrosse, where it's like depends on your community and that sort of thing. What was that event kind of like to play in?
So I gotta say, it is kind of now. When I played, like we played in the glory days of it. Like honestly, like the first one we played in 2011, the one we won, they paired it with the Grey Cup for the first time, so it was the same weekend. So we had like 20 something thousand in BC place, and like best game ever. They say like we won 41-38 in double OT, where we blew a 23-0 halftime lead, came back, had a kick to win at the end. The guy missed it, and then we picked him off in overtime. It was a crazy sequence. And then the next year when we were winning, like we would have like a game of the week on the score that was nationally broadcast. Like we'd be playing at these homecomings that have 12 to 15,000 sold out places, and then we set the attendance record with like I can't remember what exactly it was, around 45,000 at the Rogers Center, where it was absolutely packed. And like same thing, we thought we were gonna kill Laval. Like we had like 90% Mac fans there. We played the worst half of football you could play, and we were up 14-12. And I remember it being super quiet in the locker room, and like me thinking like, oh, this is awesome. We couldn't play worse. We're gonna steamroll these guys, and we ended up losing like 37-14. Their running back ran for about 300 yards on us. Like we just couldn't score on offense. But yeah, so I played in a great era of it, where the crowds were awesome, and like there was actually kind of a following. And now it's kind of gone the other way, where they don't have those TV games anymore. It's hard to find online and stuff, and it's just not kind of what it was. But to your respect, or to your point, like it is very similar to lacrosse, where there isn't that, I guess, mainstream media or national attention. Although we're kind of starting to build that with our games of the week and a little bit more exposure. But yeah, it's very similar kind of now, I would say.
And now, I mean, it looks like again, based on the hell of a Wikipedia page you've got, you used to have a different nickname back in the football playing days, the Badger. Was what, from like a honey badger? Is that what you're inspired from, or what?
Yeah, it wasn't me. It was one of my coaches, our DC, Greg Knox. Just said I was like annoying and relentless, which is kind of true. And just called me one day, God, you're like a badger. And then the other guys loved it and started calling, hey, Badger, how's it going? And then they just kind of started calling me and it stuck around. It never made its
That's
way into the NLL circles. But yeah, just for being annoying, relentless, and kind of nonstop motor. And being a little guy too. Like when I went to Mac, like I was maybe 5'10", 160 pounds soaking wet. So like smallest guy on the team too.
the badge. Maybe the badge will come back
I
for.
was gonna bring it in,
We'll
bring it to
see. Make
Georgia.
it a thing.
Yeah.
I introduce myself as it maybe.
Yeah, hey boys, nice to meet you. It's badges here. So I mean, fast forward to like after all the football success and everything, I guess because when did you wrap up there? 2014.
Yeah, 14 was my last year.
So in 2011, that was the year that you were drafted. You kind of hinted towards it, saying that Eddie picked you like later on in the draft, kind of took a flyer on you. But what were you prepared for that night? Did you have an idea going in that you were going to get picked?
No. Well, like I talked to one team, I think. I talked to Washington. Doug Locker was the GM
Yeah,
at the time, and he called me.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Talked. I'm
that
sure he
hey,
talked to all you guys. Yeah.
that doesn't count. He talks to every single
Well, I
person
didn't
that
know
ever.
that at the time. So like I'm leaving. He talked to me for like an hour and a half, and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to Washington. This is awesome. So I called my dad. I'm like, hey, guess what? GM just called me. They want to pick me. Like, pumped. So I'm like, okay. And then I learned after the fact of the draft, like, yeah, he talks to everyone like that. So, but anyway,
Did you?
so we had film. It was like a Wednesday night, I believe, and like so I'm literally sitting in a meeting in film room, and we had it like pulled up the live draft updates pulled up in the training room, and I was leaving film to kind of go back and forth, like, hey, did I get picked? Hey, did I get picked? So I had no idea if I was going to go or not. Like I was hoping and cautiously optimistic, I guess, but not a clue. And then the one time I went back and I saw my name there, and it was like the coolest thing. Like I was so happy, biggest smile on my face. Went back in the meeting, and like people kept, "Hey Joey, what happened? What happened?" And kind of disrupted the film a little bit, but it was just a really cool moment, just to be drafted, like something you kind of play and work for your whole life, and then to see your name called was awesome.
So when did you end up getting picked? You said later, but when did you? What was the actual pick? Do you remember?
Fifth round, I think it was 38th overall.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
And I mean, and Donnie's got that in the notes too. Really interesting little tidbit. I love the little fun facts. Is like, at that point it was the smallest the league's been with 8 teams. So a fifth round that may sound late, but it's like in today's draft that's a second round pick, right? So whatever, or third round pick based on however many first rounders were given out now. It seems like that's a 20 round thing with the compensatory picks, but
Yeah,
um,
it sounds better when I say I'm a fifth rounder, late
yeah,
gem that slipped through the
yeah.
cracks. So
I love it. But so you went to camp that year or no?
yeah, it's kind of again, it's crazy how things worked out because you could never do it today because they moved up the season. Back then, the season didn't start till the new year, right? So we
Yeah.
started camp
Yeah.
first week of December. So I was literally playing in the Vanier in BC, and then we won the Vanier. I flew home on, I can't remember, it was the Sunday, and then that Thursday I was down in Denver for camp, like fresh
That's a
off of
quick
football
turnaround.
season, like still banged up. I had like so many bumps and bruises, and like wasn't 100%. But then yeah, like it was one of those things where like just kind of give her and see what happens. And like I said, I did enough to impress him and stick around. But it was such a whirlwind, and like even I can't remember if it was maybe my last year. We made the Vanier again, 2014, and I had to miss a week of camp, and I had to call Govett and tell him, and he was really pissed. He's like, "Well, we got to see if we got a spot for you and all this stuff." I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm not missing the natty, so like that's on you." And like at this point, like I already was pretty established as one of our guys on defense. So, but if anyone like was doing it now, they wouldn't be able to. Like Noah Labar, who we drafted a couple years ago, he was playing football at Waterloo, and then they had their playoff game. The first playoff game was the first week of camp for us. and he told the coach like, "Hey, I'm not coming to the playoffs. I'm going to camp in Colorado," and that was the end of it. So, if I was
Wow.
born a few years later, I never would have been able to make both work. But then, yeah, for 3 years, I was literally football to NLL to summer ball, like with no off season. Like it was looking back crazy.
That is wild.
That's mental.
I
So you
can.
did. I didn't realize you did. Maybe I still wasn't paying attention. I didn't realize you played 3 years of both. I thought
Yeah,
you were
man.
done. I thought you were done playing when you came in the league. That is crazy, man.
No,
That's
so
awesome.
2011 we won the Vanier. I made Colorado, and then played. Well, I was on the practice roster most of the year, and
Yeah.
then played towards the
Okay.
end of the year. Then played summer ball up in Kitchener. Played at Mac football again, and same thing. Like the week after the season, I'm out again in camp, and I did that for 3 years, doing literally every week. There's 2 weeks a year.
And then 2015, you won Transition Player of the Year, so the fresh legs paid off for you
Yeah.
that year.
That must have been what it was. Yeah, trying to
Flying
get out of
around.
football.
Like is this what the rest of you guys feel like all the time? This is awesome.
He
Yeah,
made
that
the
was
made the switch made the switch from Badger to Lightning full time and literally
that's
and
it.
then
Yeah, never looked back after that.
Were there any sniffs for the CFL? Was that ever on the radar or
Um,
no?
so I never got drafted. I
Okay.
I couldn't go to like any of the combines or anything. Like I got
Yeah.
invited
Yeah.
to all the stuff, but it was always during NLL. And then
Yeah.
after the draft, I talked to a couple teams and got invited to a couple like I don't know if they were rookie camps. But same thing. Like I was already playing lacrosse, and like
Yeah.
I knew I'd never be able to do both. So at
Yeah.
that point, like I said, I was established kind of in the league already, and I was loving playing. So I was just the end of football. I never really pursued it or anything.
Yeah. I guess makes the decision easier, which is kind of nice. But then also like you get the what ifs too. You never know.
Yeah, but I mean, realistically, like I was pretty good, but I mean, I don't know that I'm in the pros. Like you get an undersized Canadian corner, like really, you really gonna find a spot for him? Maybe a special team guy getting banged up
Yeah.
for a few years, and I certainly would have been able to play as long as I have here.
They'll
fair
take
enough.
it. They gotta take the hometown kid for the Ticats. Come on.
Oh,
Oh,
maybe sell some tickets, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
fill the place.
Yeah.
What so I mean fast forwarding to 2015 when you won the first transition player of the year. Did you notice like what did you feel that was different about that year? Like did you just feel like things were working, things were going in, or what or did confidence change or the way you played?
I don't think my confidence has ever changed. Like you've played with me, Paulie's played with me. I don't, I don't think I've ever lacked confidence. That's never been a problem for me. But I think just getting more comfortable with it, like the NLL is fast. Like when you come from junior and go to the pros, it's a tough transition. And like I didn't play much defense in junior.
Yeah.
So like even the first few years, like playing out of the back end, a lot of growing pains. Like I'd always been fast and I've always been a really good athlete, but like little nuances and like positionally stuff like that. So that kind of stuff certainly helped because I got a lot better at like anticipating, reading, picking off passes, understand what offense wants to do. And I put the ball in the net too. My shooting percentage went up a lot. But no, I always had that confidence belief. Just one of those things where as you get more comfortable and you're just not, you don't have to think as much, and you can play faster. So it started to really click, I'd say, in that year.
Yeah, officially you had 16 goals on 37 shots. So
Jesus,
That'll work.
man.
yeah,
That'll do it.
just
They're probably
under.
mostly breakaways too, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple 2-on-1s,
Still,
but like no 5-on-5 goals.
that
I'll still never forget on the confidence note. I'll still never forget we were playing you in a senior game and somebody fired one off the end boards and I like was running back trying to catch lightning and that's never a good thing for old Stumpy like me. But the ball you weren't looking back and the ball flew over and you just had your stick up like this running straight at the net and it went right in your stick and you scored. And I was just like, what the fuck? How did you just do that? You're like, well, I'm a really good player. And I was just like, okay,
Did I say that?
confident guy.
That sounds like something I probably would have said. I don't know that I would say that anymore. I think I've grown up a little bit. Yeah, that sounds like me for sure.
That one checks out. But then
Another.
Hey,
Sorry, go
yeah,
Paul.
go ahead, Tony.
no, I just it's I think it's a cool story too. Just touch on your NLL career, but when you first came in, because obviously you probably took a lot of flack, but the high socks, there's a meaning
Yeah.
behind the high socks. So I think it's a cool story because obviously, I'm sure I gave it, but I also wore tights for a couple of years, so shouldn't be able to say much. But I know I gave it to you a couple of times with the high socks, but it's actually a cool story.
I don't know how cool it is, but like I started wearing them like because like so people could find me and know where I was. Like, I my parents always watched, and my elderly grandparents loved to watch, but never knew where the hell I was on the floor. So I started wearing them just so they always knew, because like not many people were doing that. And then yeah, the high black socks for a long time. Um, but then you always knew where I was on the floor. It kind of looked like I was moving maybe a little bit faster than I was too. And then when COVID came around, like I'd wanted to kind of get away from them because I was kind of tired. Like I'm like, okay, I don't know how great this looks. Um, but I like people were kind of knew me for that, and like my dad said as soon as I stopped doing, like, man, you got to go back to the socks. I can't tell where you are. It's brutal. But yeah, I went to the half kind of tights. Like I like the feel of them, but like I don't know. People were saying I should bring it back. Like if there's ever a throwback night or something like that, bring back the socks. Or even this year, I've had a few people tell me get the high socks going back with the new
Get
team.
him
So
back. Bring him
yeah,
back.
we'll
Bring him out
see.
of retirement. Um, that's funny. But so I mean, moving into again, like obviously 2015 we just talked about, but then 2018 you have almost a replica season statistically, and win it again. And during that time, like what were obviously your team? You were with the same team for a long time. Like was there? And then you win in 2022, and we'll get there soon. But was there a team that you felt like could have done it leading up to that, or you guys had a good group and you thought you could have won or anything?
I don't know. It's a weird question to answer because I feel like I'm going to win it every year, and I feel like
Mm,
I'm on a team that can win it every year. So I've always been kind of wired that way. Like I feel like I could have double digit rings by now. Having Wardo in net once we kind of found him, like with him as your goalie, you always have a chance to win. For a while there, like we were really sound defensively, and then offensively we had good pieces, but couldn't quite put it together. And then come playoff time, like we just ended up playing Calgary and losing every single time. And
yeah,
we finally broke the hump when we got to play Vancouver instead. Finally got over it. Um, I don't know what it was, man. We had so many like heartbreaks against Calgary where overtime losses, blown big leads, and I don't know if it's a mental thing or what it was, but a couple of years where we felt like if we could have just got by them, like we would have had it. And it mostly the same group that ended up winning it, like a lot of the same core guys with a few
yeah.
extra pieces here and there. So we've always kind of had that belief, and I'm glad it worked out for one.
No doubt, man. I mean, yeah, I think we had Junior on, and he said he still won't. He refuses to go back to Calgary ever because it stung him so bad. But
There's a
maybe
lot of
take
scar tissue there, honestly. Like
yeah
it's crazy. Like you look at the ways we lost too. Like I remember playing in Calgary, the one we lost like 15-14, absolute shootout where like Evie scored the winner kind of on me where he just shot it around me. That was the year Wardo had his gear stolen. You guys know that story?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wardo was airing out his gear, it got stolen. So he had all this makeshift stuff. He looked ridiculous. Probably felt terrible too. So we
I
lost
bet.
that year. There was a year where it was tied at half and we got a penalty to start the second half because we came out late because we had no clock in our room. The clock was unplugged and no one came to tell us to go out. So we show up late. They score like two right away on a couple powers, and then we got blown out. There were a couple at home. We were up like 3 or 4 or 5 goals maybe at home, and then ended up losing big. There was one where we played the longest overtime game in NL history, and Dobie scores just the grossest goal ever of all time. So like it was a lot of heartbreak against Calgary for a long time.
I was chatting with my dad today. We're big Flames fans, and the Calgary's getting a new rink. So luckily for you, with bad memories of the Saddle Dome, they're gonna rip it down in like a year. So
It's gone.
Yeah, that would be nice. But you know what?
yeah.
I love playing in the dome. I thought it was a really cool stadium. Like it's just the way it's shaped, the sound in there just it gets really loud, and it's a fun place to play too. I love going out to Calgary. But yeah, the results not so much. But the rest of Calgary's great.
Talk to us a little bit about that 2022 run.
Yeah, that was something special. Like I mean, again, same group of guys, and I don't think anyone thought we were going to win. Like I'm sure no one picked us in the preseason. I'm sure no one picked us against Buffalo. And we kind of backdoored our way in the playoffs too. But we got hot at the right time. Wardo played awesome during that whole run. Eli played out of his mind, and it was crazy how it happened too, because like we finally beat Calgary, get over the hump, beat him in Calgary, and then Leasy, who's like had to set the record for most points this season for the Mammoth, tears his ACL in San Diego at a practice the night before the first game.
On that
And
shitty
like
fucking on the shitty outdoor
crazy. I
turf.
was the closest guy to him. No, I was on the inside at the actual arena. Literally
Oh,
just doing like 4-on-3 dropout drill. He catches a pass and then just screams and goes down, no one near him. And like we all kind of knew right away.
No
So we end
way.
up beating San Diego somehow without him. And then Buffalo, we lose a heartbreaker game one where we turn the ball over with like under a minute left. We scores on a breakaway. And then Eli goes down and separates his shoulder. So he's done for the series. So like our two top O guys are out. But then somehow just found a way. Warda was unbelievable. Defense was unbelievable. Zeddy took over
Yeah,
the rest of
that
the
he turned
series. Like
into
he
an
played out of
animal.
his mind. And like everybody else pitched in, Gibby, like we had a couple young guys like Brett McIntyre, Sam Firth, who were playing for the first time in their careers in the playoffs, who stepped up. Mearsy Wardle ended up scoring the winning goal on his birthday in game three. So total team effort. And
what a night
that
that
was,
must have been for him. Fuck
oh,
me.
God, it was a
That's
night, a
called
top five night of a lifetime. Like winning in Buffalo, sold out crowd, and like being from Hamilton, like I had so many friends and family there too. And like everybody was just partying after. Like you get in the room. I'd never won anything. That was the first time I'd ever won anything in lacrosse. So like you get in the room and like it's all tarped off. There's a million champagne bottles and garbage bins full of beer. And the champagne thing was incredible. One of my favorite pictures ever is like me with a cigar, holding the beer in one hand, trophy in the other hand, just the happiest look on my face. And yeah, we went to, I don't even know where we went. We ended up like some rooftop where the organization had it all, like all you can drink, all you can eat. And it was just a party for the ages, man. It was unbelievable.
That's incredible. I'm jealous hearing about that. But again, like you guys had some pretty crazy runs over that time, right? Like I guess I think it was last year was the first year you didn't make the playoffs in the entire time that you were there.
Yeah, like it's making the playoffs was just like second nature and normal. Like I
Yeah,
guess I don't know how many years it was, 11 years or something in a row. We made it, so like I was just kind of used to it. And then last year was very frustrating. Like we weren't used to not having success, and we were kind of always there. And but I guess that's normal. And like most people aren't fortunate to be in the postseason so often. It's hard, man. It's so hard to win. Like you
no,
take it for granted, I guess, sometimes. But look at how many players in our league have played 15 seasons and nothing to show for it in terms of championships. So, like I said, just to get one at least is fortunate, because I can't imagine going a whole career, whole lifetime playing the sport and not having anything.
what tell us? I mean, you and I talked about it. A little bit through the process, kind of going through a similar injury. But talk to us about kind of how the Achilles went down, and then how that recovery process was for you.
Yeah, it was harder than I thought it was going to be. A lot harder. So it was nice to have guys like you, talk to Jammer and Karn's, guys who have done it, to kind of lean on and ask some questions and stuff. Because man, I didn't think it was going to be that hard. So just literally playing D, just checking a guy, something I've done a million times, and they scored a goal, and it felt like someone just whacked me in the back of the leg. And like I'd known enough from talking to guys and seeing it where I'm like, oh, this probably isn't good. Probably Achilles. And my first thought's like, oh, maybe I just like pulled it a little bit, and then tried to take a step and kind of crumble. So I remember hobbling off and like telling the trainer right away, like, hey, it's Achilles, I'm done. And then they stuck me in an X-ray and an MRI machine that night. Had the surgery a couple weeks later, and like, so in my mind, not thinking much about it. Like I'm like, oh, look at these NFL guys. Like Cam Akers just came back in 5.5 months. So I'm like, I'll do that. I'll be ready for the Mann Cup. That'd be perfect. And it was so much harder than that. Like having the surgery, as you'll attest to, like your leg goes to nothing. Like basically
Yeah,
withers away. So I was in that boot for 6 weeks, and like there's no muscle there. And then you got to learn, basically retrain yourself how to walk again. And like for me, the biggest hurdle was mental. Because like every time I do a new milestone, I'm like, fuck, it's gonna tear again. Like it's gonna snap. And like, the first time I tried to just do a step up with one leg, first time I tried to run again, and it took a while to kind of get over those hurdles. And then once you do them, you're okay. But yeah, it took me. Mine was, I think I was back right around 11 months. And then it was hard too because I didn't get a training camp. Like I was only doing the non-contact stuff. And so I literally got like 1 weekend of practice, which is like 4 5-on-5 reps. And like, okay, here you go play. And then the first game back, probably the first half of the season, I'd say, like I wasn't really myself because I half the time I was like thinking about my leg. Like if I planted the same way or made an awkward movement, like shit, it's gonna tear again. So it took a while to kind of get over that. But as the season went on, I got more comfortable with it. Like it's certainly not what it was, and my leg's still smaller and weaker. But I'm very thankful
Yeah.
I'm able to play again. And mentally, it's something I don't think about now, where I can just go out and focus on playing, which is awesome. But I mean, I'm sure you'll agree, man. Like mentally, it was way harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's just scary because it's like you said, you build up enough strength to progress in a physio program. They're like, okay, you're going to jump off this box, then you're going to jump forward once you land, and it's like, I'm not doing that. Fuck, like
Yeah,
that's why I'm here. That just happened. I don't need this to happen again.
it's
But then,
it's funny. We
and
had like one of my appointments with the doc was Lizzie was in there with me. Like we had an appointment, and she's like, "Hey, do you guys want to come in together?" I'm like, "All right, sure." So we did our appointments at the same time with Michelle, our ortho in Denver, and so she's looking at his knee and saying all stuff, and she's doing me, and she's like, "Okay, so I want you to put your hands on the table and just single leg, do a single leg calf raise." I'm like, "I can't do it." She's like, "No, you could do it. Like it's strong up." Like I can't. It's going to snap. And like I was like terrified. And Leezy's sitting there laughing at me. He's like, "Hey, quit being such a bitch. Just do it." Like I can't. Like I'm shaking over here. Like so it's crazy. Like you don't think about it, but that was for sure the hardest part of the rehab, just mentally kind of overcoming all those obstacles.
yeah, well, and then there's nothing like when you're doing when you go through the physio too, and then for the first time it like does that like scar tissue crack,
That
and
was
it's
scary
like,
shit.
oh no, there it goes again. Let's starting over.
Yeah,
It's
I still have like that where it still crackles a bit. And the scar tissue, I heard it never goes away.
yeah,
So like I know that my left side is like way thicker than the other one. But I'll still get that like popping kind of every now and again, especially when I do stairs. I walk downstairs every time just to pop. So
yeah,
it's but yeah, man, it's terrifying, I guess, once you do it once.
yeah, no doubt, man. But good for you for making the comeback from that. It's like you said, it kind of fucks with your head a little bit, but makes you enjoy the little things a little bit more. I think when you get back out there. But we've had you for a while. We'll get into kind of some other maybe some outside lacrosse stuff. Paulie was talking a little wrestling.
Yeah.
Is this a big thing for you or what?
You know what? I got to be honest, I haven't followed it as much lately. But like growing up, big wrestling guy, and like we'd always have parties like when I was in my teens, my 20s, like WrestleMania parties and Royal Rumble and stuff. And I love it, man. Like guys get
I,
chirped all the
what I
time.
would
Guys chirp
do
me.
what I would do to be a fly in the wall at a Royal Rumble party in the Hammer. That
Oh, it's
must have been a
electric.
time.
We had some where we'd have like, I don't even know. Like I used to live in this condo. Like it was like a 600 square foot condo, 1 bedroom, with like the living room with just like a couch and TV, and we'd have like 25, 30 people in there. Like Royal Rumble party where it's we got the pool going and like everybody's got a wrestler and you're going nuts when he comes out, gets eliminated, stuff like that. But yeah, just a good time, man. Good entertainment. Like I say all the time, people love movies and theater and art. Like basically what it is. Like, is it
Yeah,
scripted? Yeah, you know who's gonna win and lose, but all the bumps and bruises are real and like the athleticism is crazy and those guys are talk about tough, man. Some of the shit they put their bodies through is mental. And you know what the craziest ones are like? WWE is awesome. I've been to a few house shows in Hamilton. So like Cody Rhodes, you guys know Cody Rhodes?
Yeah.
yeah,
He came to a house show in Hamilton, and there's like 250 people. It's like in this basement hall at the Knights of
It
Columbus.
was in your
Right?
condo.
yeah,
No, not yeah. I wasn't in the condo. Wasn't in the condo, but like there were only a few more people than were at the condo. But anyway, so it's I don't know if how much money, if any, he was making on it. So he's like they're just jumping off it through tables, jumping off ladders. He put tacks down, soaked about 200 tacks in his back. And then they did an intermission, and he's sitting there at the table signing autographs with all these tacks just sitting in his back. Like it was crazy. So seeing that gave me a new appreciation. Like guys are doing this because they love it. Like kind of like our sport, honestly. Like guys aren't playing this to get rich. They're doing it because they absolutely love it. But their bodies take an absolute beating. But man, it's entertaining. If you ever get a chance to go to a house show too,
I
and
think
the
we might have
people,
to do that.
oh, man, just as you would imagine them.
But you got to step in the ring right after one of the games. Didn't you get to step in one
Yeah,
of the ring?
yeah. So we always have a wrestling night. So to one year we did it. I can't remember what year it was. It was right before COVID, I think. And like I come out with this belt. Like they introduced so Wooly, our mascot, is fighting in like this battle royal, and like I was a wrestling guy. So it was like me, a trainer. I think Brider was there, and like you guys are gonna be his entourage, lead him out. So I come out and bring this belt out and like hold it up, and I walk right up to the camera and do something to do the Hulk Hogan, just rip the shirt. The crowd is loving it, and then we kind of go around the ring and we're slamming on it. And Wooly wins. We go in the ring, start celebrating. It was awesome. And then a few years later, we did it, and we had Devon Dudley, one of the Dudley boys there. And so like this is when I just came back from the injury. I just wanted to watch. And they're like, "Hey Joey, why don't you come over there?" I'm like, "All right, I come over." And then Big Rob, our arena guy, sees me. He's like, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we got a special guest here, Joey Cupido." He does like a promo with me and Devon at the same time. And I got the bell. I'm like, "This is really cool." So I got to kind of hang out and talk to him. And he was a super nice, super chill guy. Um, but yeah, I got to be involved with a couple of them, which was really neat. I didn't like get to do any moves or get slammed or slam anyone like that, but just to be a part of it was really neat.
Who was your guy growing up? Did you have a wrestler?
Um, Chris Jericho has always been my all-time favorite. Like just the way he's kind of like he's still doing it in AEW, and the way
It's
he's
nuts.
always like he's never been the best to the best, but he's always been one of the top guys in the company, and he's found a way to kind of reinvent himself and stay relevant. So I'd say he's my all-time favorite. And then, there's other guys like I certainly have appreciation for like Taker. He's doing it till he's 50. He couldn't even move anymore. And he's putting
That's
his body
crazy.
on the line. Like it's a bit. I just appreciate those guys and what they do to entertain us, man.
Paulie, did you have a guy? Did you have a wrestler? I know you were kind of into it, weren't you?
Yeah, yeah. No, I loved wrestling. No, I was a big Stone Cold guy. I mean, I watched wrestling since I was young, so
Yeah.
it was just like through the ages. But yeah, like my heyday, I went to the first ever pay per view in Canada. My mom dropped like me and like we took like six buddies. My mom dropped us off in the WinStar. I think she actually came, and we were watching. It was in Hamilton actually, the first ever pay per view. I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, we were
Down at
big.
Cops.
Yeah, at Cops. But yeah, I was a big Stone Cold guy.
I
That's really
remember.
cool.
I remember growing up and I was kind of like outside of like that attitude era
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah,
But I remember like I'd always turn it on TV and like turn the volume really low so I wouldn't get in trouble for watching it. But
yeah.
and we'd always play that N64 game that was like NWO versus
Oh,
something else.
one of the best
Oh
games of all time.
man, legitimately the best. And you just get a little horned up kid just wrestling with the divas, having a blast. But uh, I guess outside of that, in terms of going back to the football thing, you're a Packers guy. Is that die hard running the family or what?
Honestly, it's like a religion in our family. Yeah. Um, Born and raised, and like I'm trying to get my girls on it. They're not as keen. They know, like you ask them, "Hey, who's our favorite team?" They'll tell you the Green Bay Packers. And like I've introduced a rule now: when we watch the game with Dad, we get to have a treat or a snack. So they'll be asking me Sunday morning. He's like, "Hey, what time's the game at?" And then the second it starts, "What? Can I go get my treat now?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Just come sit here and be quiet and let me watch the game." So like last week, we played against Houston and kicked like a last second field goal to win. And like it's just chaos in my house. The girls are like screaming and running around, and like everyone kept blocking the TV. And then my wife's like trying to get me to do stuff. And I'm like, no, we're watching the game as a family right now, sweetie. This is family time right here. So it's a work in progress, but I think we're gonna get there.
That's
That's
great.
awesome.
That's so. I mean, how do you feel now with this post Aaron Rodgers era?
Man, I don't know what I think of Love, to be honest. Like he's kind of a mix between Rodgers and Favre. Like he's so talented, but at the same time, like I think he is too confident because he thinks he can make every throw. So he's throwing like 3 touchdowns and 3 picks a game, where he's
Yeah,
just slinging the ball all over the field. I think he's going to be really good because he's a great athlete and like has all the tools. And like even when he was in college, like he didn't have a great completion percentage, threw a lot of picks, and he's only year 2 as a starter. So I
yeah,
think as he
fair.
gets a little bit older, he's still young too, man. Like he can't be what 25 maybe.
Yeah,
So like
it's
he's got
crazy.
time to grow, and QBs don't usually hit their peak till kind of late 20s, around 30. So I think he's going to get there. He's going to be elite, but there's definitely going to be some growing pains and some games where you're watching like, what are you doing? But I think he's the quarter. Man, we've been fortunate with like Favre to
Yeah,
Rodgers to Love.
quarterbacks. Oh yeah,
30
seriously.
years of three great quarterbacks. So I as a fan, I've been really spoiled, I guess.
That's great, man. Well, we've had you for a while. Last couple for you. What's, if anything, what inspires the jersey number for you?
So 82, something I started doing in the pros. It's actually for in honor of a buddy of mine. So Kyle Ouellette, he was played hockey and lacrosse with me growing up. He was our goalie for lacrosse and great hockey player. So he passed away when he would have been 12 years old. He had made first year play in triples and coming back from a game late at night, one lane kind of highway, and transport truck veered over, hit head on.
Oh,
His
Jesus.
dad, him and his dad in the car. His dad survived, but he passed away. And then I remember, being at the funeral and like it was kind of the first real, I guess, glimpse of death. Kind of
Yeah,
like you
for
always think you're
sure.
bulletproof as a kid. You know what I mean?
Oh
Yeah.
So
yeah.
seeing something like that is like it really knocks you down a lot. But talking to his family and everything, it was really sad. And then his sister, I remember her saying to me like, "Hey, never stop playing. I keep playing." I told her, "Hey, if I ever make it, I'm gonna wear his number." And like the last year I played with him, he wore 82. So when I got drafted, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna wear 82," and then kind of been wearing it ever since.
That's
That's a
unreal.
great.
That is sick. That's unreal.
Yeah, it's
Um,
kind of special. Like actually, yesterday was the anniversary too of his 21 years, which is hard to believe. Like
Crazy.
it's time just flies. Like it's nuts.
21 years was not 2019, right?
Not quite.
It's, that's what it feels like, though. People start saying
yeah,
30 years ago was like 2004. You're like, no, no, it was 94.
Man, I've started seeing these things like, hey, 1990 is further away than 1990 was to the 60s to 1960.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like,
Yeah,
Jesus,
it's
how's that a
mental.
thing?
that's
It's getting
scary.
old, buddy.
I don't like thinking like that. That's scary.
I know, it sucks to see.
And then I guess, and then the last one for you in terms of like gear. I mean, mention the socks, but is there like any old piece of gear or like ritual you've got with a stick or something that you've always done?
I don't know about ritual. I always tape it before every game. Um, Gear, like I still wear the my shoulder pads from Midget. They're actually my brother's shoulder pads. I stole them and cut them up and
Nice.
make them work. I was wearing my
Nice.
kidney pads from even earlier until like 5, 6 years ago. I kept getting my mom to sew them up, but they finally exploded. Had to get rid of them. Um, man, once I get gear I like, I really don't switch it out.
Yeah.
Like gloves, I'll usually get a new pair of gloves once they start getting holes in them. But yeah, the shoulders, even the slash guards, mine are all beat up, but I've been using them for the last 3 or 4 years, and I kind of really ride them out.
I like it, man.
That's awesome. The original idea of that question was how old are your kidney pads, and that's exactly why we asked because there's a bunch of guys out there who just will ride them into the sunset.
Especially well, like the new ones. I don't really like any of the new ones. Like I use the Under Armour ones now, but like for a while there, the ones we were getting from the league were brutal. Like Paul, you
Yeah.
remember the Reebok ones?
Yeah, they're tough. Yeah.
Oh man, they had like this mesh thing you had to put around you. Remember that? Like it wasn't even like a
Yeah.
strap. It was
Yeah.
almost like wearing a vest.
Yeah.
And then yeah, some of the new stuff I've worn, it's not as comfortable. And like for me, like I like to have as little equipment, like as small equipment as possible, because I want to feel like light and fast. Like if I get like big stuff on and feel bulky, I don't like that. I feel slow. So that's why I wear all the old stuff too. Like the chest protector and shoulders, absolutely nothing. Like
Yeah.
it's literally just like
They're
wearing a
just
piece of
there.
paper. It's more like probably just wearing it just cause now I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
But I feel good in it, so that's what matters, right?
No
Until I
doubt,
get
man.
hit with a ball in the chest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
literally offering no protection, but you can
No,
fly in it, so
nothing.
it's good.
Awesome, man. Well, we've had you for a while. I appreciate your time. This has been a great talk. Again, this is why we do this stuff. Is kind of get a look behind the curtain. So, based on timing, it's pretty cool. A new beginning for you. So good luck down in Georgia, and we appreciate you taking the time, man.
Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. I was happy to do it. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, man.
Awesome.
Thanks, Joe. That was awesome, buddy.
We're back. Figured I'd give everybody a little bit of a carrot there for fun leading into that interview, but fun one with Joey. It was a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and I mean crazy history in terms of football and stuff that he's done, man. I mean, I think one thing we didn't mention in that interview, which I thought was kind of wild, in 2011. He had 4 interceptions in a single game against Queens, which tied a CIS single game record. And then there was another one. What was the?
He had at one point he finished his career with 14 interceptions in 16 career playoff games in CIS football. Just absurd. And
That's a crazy stat.
Yeah.
and the interception thing is like pretty interesting with like how he plays lacrosse too. Like that's really that's what he does. He's a ball hawk. He picks off passes, takes them to the house. Like that's among other things. He's obviously good at everything in box, but like that's kind of his trademark thing. So that's interesting.
Yep. No doubt.
Also, shout out to whoever did his Wikipedia. I'm assuming whoever did it is going to listen to this, so you did a good job.
Yeah, keep up the great work, and please make sure to do that for every one of our featured guests. Because it made the background work a little bit easier. But is it PLL pack time?
Okay, so I got the trading card bug right now. So I've been buying the Tim Hortons trading cards every day when I get my coffee. So I got quite the stack now. I got a free donut.
Oh, let's go.
Not gonna cash that in. Season's coming up
After the season.
Yep. In May.
Or just get it, and save it for after the season, or maybe a little post-game treat. You have a good night, overtime winner. Get yourself a nice honey cruller. Celebrate in the room by yourself.
Heat it up in the air fryer, whole baby.
Maybe I'll add this to in support of the Minto Cup. I'll add this into some sort of a raffle. Some sort of raffle.
It's what you do. Home opener, Vegas. You throw that bad boy on the board. Here we go, boys. Here we go.
Yeah. So
everybody's putting cash up. Donnie fucking waddles up there with a free donut gift card.
But the reason I bring all that up is check out this poll today. Matthew Poitras, his brother Adam, my new teammate in Vegas, pulled him out of the Tim Hortons pack today, playing for the Bruins. So that's a good omen.
Signature.
Yep.
Hey, looking for a signature.
Exactly. Yep. I think got me some good brownie points with the new rookie on my team. Said, hey, pulled your brother in a pack. But moving on. PLL 2024. I already ripped these because I didn't want to fumble it in front of everybody. This is what the outside looks like.
Hold on. Does that mean I see an MLL player on the front? Does that mean there can be MLL cards? Is there going to be one of me drinking a beer in the Bud Light tent?
No, this is the new Denver Outlaws of the PLL.
Oh, right.
Yep. If you're looking to learn more about these cards, Todd Tobias from does a column on the Cross Culture Daily, broke it down in immense detail. It's really interesting. You should go look at it. Okay, here we go. Number 1, Brandon Krebs, goaltender for the Whip Snakes.
Krebsy.
That one's too easy. That one writes itself. Wow, we're going on a Whip Snakes heater here. Matt Dunn, one of the best defensemen in the world.
Oh, the Dunman.
Dunman, like the both.
Dunner Stall.
I'm sure Dunsey could do in a pinch too. Yeah. Colin Heacock, beauty.
Coxman. Wrench.
Yeah, wrench.
The wrench.
This is finally an actually accurate depiction of how nicknames get done. Mason Woodward from the Utah Archers.
Cock.
Yep. My teammate on the Cannon, Zach Tucci.
The
Tucher.
Tucci's already. It's like already a nickname.
We got to put this video out there too. I don't know. I think I talked about this a long time ago on this podcast, but the guy who used to sing the national anthem before Robert Morris games, you will never see anything like this in your life. But his name is Tucci. and I think he's got YouTube videos. So if you want to get an idea of the gentleman that used to sing that anthem, I'm pretty sure he was their equipment manager too. So or the janitor or something. So go watch those. They're good stuff.
All right. Staying with my Cannons teammate, Matt Kavanaugh. Cavi. Matt, his actual nickname is Matty Ice. Pretty sweet nickname.
That's pretty cool.
PLL NL crossover, Danny Logan.
Logsy,
yeah, that kind of writes itself. Top 5 player in High Point history, Asher Nolting.
I think you say Dan Lomas.
I got more packs.
I'm fairly certain you could probably say he's a top 1 player at High Point.
Don't want to get to his head. We'll leave it at top 5. And then this is the special card of this pack. So this is a collectible, one of only 49. I believe that's how this it is kind of marked. Liam Entenmann, goaltender for the Atlas.
NC.
That's a
NC
good one.
beauty.
Was that a 9 pack? Was that a 9 carder?
Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Oh wow, we got a 9-parter. Let's go. Let's go. I didn't realize that.
But I'm not going to do it.
What's that?
I said I was going to do something if we got 9, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, so I guess that makes this special one that's our collectible. It's our 9th card. It says on the pack 8 cards per pack, except if you're lucky enough to get one of these. And by the way,
what does that do?
Collect it.
Yeah, you collect it. We just have a special card that nobody else has, sir.
No free donut? You don't get a free donut with that one?
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
There's a free salad thing. I threw it out. I don't want that. So we'll keep making them. And by the way, should mention on the fact that we got a 9-card pack right off the hop. I bought these with my own money. No one sent us these. Nothing doctored here. And also I'm also not in this round of cards. So there's no chance that I'm actually in there either.
We got to keep pulling these cards and getting promotion on them until Donnie's in the deck.
Yeah. I think they did it I believe they did it at training camp last year when I broke my hand like a loser. So, yeah, all good. But it's going to be a recurring segment.
Yep.
2 cocks. in the first pack.
Two cocks, 1 pack is a pretty good day.
Yeah.
Oh man, Woodsy. I would call that guy boner for sure. But yeah, I mean that's a good day. That's a good day on the podcast. Felt like we got back to our roots a little bit. But
yeah,
is there anything else you guys want to touch on before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out. We got the Battle of the Badges coming up here. Obviously, I don't have the date, but this will also be a reoccurring segment. So, the World Police Fire Games are coming up in Birmingham, Alabama. Anyways, so Toronto Police is going to play Ontario Fire. I think maybe in February. We'll get the dates. We'll get it locked down. But they play at halftime. They've been doing it for couple of years now. A guy from our department, Mike Gillen, he's the one who runs it. It's in support of the Wounded Warriors Project. So yeah, again, I'll come up with some more details. I'll be a little bit more organized next time with some dates, times, everything. But yeah, anyways,
that's exciting, man.
Yeah.
We were talking with Joey Cupido after the interview, just kind of talking about the history of Back the Bird when you played, Paulie, in that police fire thing, and you were just like talking about how basically everyone was just fighting and getting loaded for like the whole time. That was an awesome little era segment of the podcast.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I'm making the trip down to Birmingham this summer, so that'll probably hang my jersey up in Birmingham. That'll probably be the last World Police Fire Games for me. Number 3,
if you guys win that, can you and then you go down to sorry, I wasn't really paying attention there. I just lost train of thought. But were you do you have to play to win Canada, then you go down, or
no? It's just like the Olympics. You bring a team down and that's it, and then you win, and then you're the World Police Fire Games champion. We were bronze medalists last year. I had
And,
3 goals,
and
4 assists in the bronze. So yeah.
is everyone in on your team from Brampton Fire, or can you pull from anywhere?
No, we're Ontario Fire now. So little history on Brampton Fire. They won the World Police Fire Games in New York. Want to say in like 2011. And then we came second in Fairfax, Virginia, maybe 2015. Then there was a little bit of a break with COVID, and sometimes lacrosse isn't in it. Depends where it is in the world. And then we were bronze medalists last year in Winnipeg as Ontario Fire. So
Okay.
so now we're pulling from
You
everywhere.
guys should be fucking really good then.
There's a couple big pickups. We won't say who, but there's been some NLLers who have got on the job. So we're talking to their agents and whatnot. We're trying to load up for
Negotiate.
Birmingham. Yeah,
Is
yeah,
Birmingham is that in the summer?
yeah. It's gonna be hot.
Yeah, that's not going to be very fun, but
No, but
a
oh
cool
well.
little vacation. I bet they got golf courses down there.
Oh, the Robert Jones Trail. You ever heard of it? No, never heard of it.
Paulie's gonna be missing the gold medal game because he's got 36 holes that day.
No, I'll see you. I'll just tell the boys. I'll see you in the gold medal game.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got
you won't
36
be
a day.
around.
I'll see you at the gold medal game.
That's good stuff. Well, stay tuned for updates with regards to when that actually is. But outside of that, I think we're all good. Camp's kicking off. Make sure you check out the socials on NOL and everything happening this weekend. I'm right back to being Rip Junes, baby. So we're
Yeah,
excited
go
to
see your
get
dad, your real dad.
my real dad. We had a team call this week, and he was telling us what we're having for dinner and everything. And I just unmuted myself and said, "Fucking rights, Papa." So we're excited to get back there, have some laughs, and get to play the game we love again, man. So appreciate everybody listening. We'll chat with you next week.
See you later.